For a year, people were crying, why isn't a vaccine coming for COVID? You guys claim scientists can do wonders, and yet you can't find a cure for a tiny virus? These were the questions that we used to hear during the first stages of the pandemic. Now, the same people are spreading false rumors about the vaccines when they are finally here. Social media and WhatsApp is flooded with messages from anti-vaxxers, and their messages are spreading fear amongst the public, which is causing a lot of people to stay away from the vaccines after believing such messages. Add to this, pseudoscientific proponents like homeopaths and naturopaths have started posting that there will be a great danger if you take the vaccine, or that there is no point in taking these vaccines. Some of the questions are aimed simply at mongering fear, and they go like this. Have you taken the vaccine? If you have taken a vaccine, do you need to continue wearing a mask? Does everyone who takes the vaccine get the same level of immunity? Will vaccines reduce the spread of the virus? Will it enable you to get the required immunity? Will you get COVID infection even after taking the vaccination? These are some of the questions that we have come across. Funnily enough, the answers to all of these are no. And that is not because vaccines are not effective. That is because that is how science works. It goes from I don't know now to I know now. Whatever be the reasons for us to say no to the questions, why we should take the vaccine is what we would be discussing today. Since we are not medical professionals, we will seek the expert opinion of a doctor, Dr. Libin Abraham. Dr. Libin Abraham is a postdoctoral research fellow at the University of British Columbia, Canada, and he has made a video on this in a channel called Lucy, run by a good friend, Chandrasekhar Ramesh. We are using the information presented on the video, and we are presenting it with Chandrasekhar's permission. So let's address this question. Why should we take the vaccine? Welcome to Pale Blue Thoughts. We will address a few of the common questions that people ask frequently. Will everyone get immunity after taking the vaccine? The answer is simple. No. Wait, don't run away thinking that these vaccines are no good. There is no vaccine that can provide you with 100% immunity. This is not because of the vaccine or because of its design. It is because each one of us are different, and so are our immune systems. My immune response might be different to yours, so the concept of one size fits all won't work here. But you don't need to get scared. We have managed to wipe out many diseases off this planet by using vaccines which have not been 100% effective. We have been able to achieve this by vaccinating a high number of people and thus achieving herd immunity. So in this case too, we would have to trust science and to take the vaccine in order to achieve herd immunity. Next question that may be on people's mind is the efficacy numbers. You may have seen news articles where vaccines developed by Moderna and Pfizer have 95% efficacy, while some other vaccines have 80% and so on. So what is efficacy values? People have this misconception that if a vaccine has an efficacy value of 95%, then if you give the vaccine to 100 people, 95 people would get the benefit and 5 people won't. Sadly, this is not how it works. When the vaccine undergoes a trial, they divide the volunteers into 2 groups, experimental group and control group. One group, the experimental group, is given the real vaccine, and the other group, the control group, is given a placebo. We have already discussed this in detail in one of our previous videos. Once the trials are over, they do a comparative study of how many people who took the vaccine later had presence of the virus within them. They could be symptomatic or asymptomatic. What are they comparing them with? They are comparing them with the people in the placebo or the control group. So this is just a comparison between the number of people who got the sickness after taking the real vaccine versus the people who were given no vaccine. Efficacy number is something which comes out of such a comparative study. This is done during a trial phase and may not be a model of the real world scenario. Also, it is a range. If a vaccine claims to be 95%, it can be 98% or it can be 90%. Also, the efficacy values can depend on a lot of factors such as the spread or viral load of the infection in the place and time where the trial is happening, the strains that are in circulation there, the restrictions that are in place at that time, and most importantly, the behavior of the people there, and so on. So to compare the effectiveness of a particular vaccine just based on efficacy numbers is not justified. All the vaccines are not developed in the same country and at the same time period. So you're not comparing apples to apples, and hence the vaccines cannot be compared on a common ground. Another point that people bring is that we don't get to choose the vaccine. As we explained, efficacy numbers don't determine the effectiveness of a vaccine. All vaccines currently in the market are proven to act against the virus. So don't worry about the efficacy numbers and just go take the vaccine. On to the next question. This is quite funny actually. Answer to this is also a no. This prompts people to say, see, they are saying that you can get COVID even after taking the vaccine. So why should we take the vaccine? Here we need to introduce a concept called sterilizing immunity. When a foreign body or an antigen enters our body, the ability of the body to destroy the virus or the bacteria before it starts to replicate is called as sterilizing immunity. You have sterilizing immunity if your antibodies have the ability to destroy or clear away the virus as soon as it enters a cell in your body and before it starts to make copies of itself. Not all vaccines have this sterilizing immunity. For example, one of the diseases that we eradicated, smallpox. The smallpox vaccine had a very strong immune response and showed high sterilizing immunity. Vaccine for human papillomavirus is another. But there are many other vaccines which don't have this power. For example, the polio vaccine. The inactivated poliovirus vaccine does not give sterilizing immunity, and its effectiveness was around 90%. So it was using a vaccine with 90% effectiveness and with no sterilizing immunity, we were able to almost wipe the poliovirus off the face of the earth. So since the vaccine does not provide sterilizing immunity, there is a chance of COVID even after vaccination. We will explain why. The vaccine is given as an intramuscular injection. The antibodies that gets generated within our body are called systemic antibodies or circulating antibodies. What these do is that even before the coronavirus starts to reproduce within the body, these antibodies helps to clear away the viruses and stop us from getting seriously infected. So for people who have been vaccinated against the coronavirus, we have seen that the disease doesn't become moderate or severe and they do not require hospitalization or death. In all the vaccine drives that has been conducted so far, of all the people who have completed the doses and certified as successfully vaccinated, not even one person has been reported to have had a severe infection even after they got infected. There has been 0 case of deaths and 0 cases of severe COVID-19 infections among the millions who have taken the jab so far. This is a better number than efficacy numbers. So the answer to the question is no, you might still get infected, but you won't get infected severely or be forced to go under a ventilator or worse, die. Even if you get COVID, it is most likely to be very mild. And one of the main reasons why you still might get a mild infection is because there are no systemic antibodies in the epithelium tissues of your nose, mouth, throat, etc. So don't think that because there is no sterilizing immunity, there is no point in taking the vaccine. Go take the vaccine. The third question is, should we wear a mask and practice social distancing if I have taken the vaccine? Finally, an answer which we can say yes. That is because if you get infected from somewhere, you have a chance to spread the infection to others. This is because there is no systemic immunity cells in your nose, mouth and throat. So the virus can replicate there and get transmitted through droplets. So in order to curb the spread, it is advised to wear a mask and practice social distancing and frequent hand washing until we get clear of the virus. There are companies still working on making better vaccines than what we have now. One company has already achieved a lot of success in phase 1 trials for a nasal spray vaccine which is shown to build sterilizing immunity. However, it will be some time before it reaches everyone. So then we can give a better guarantee that you would never get COVID. Until then, yes, go take the vaccine. So as we mentioned, don't get puzzled over the effectiveness of the vaccine and stay away from it after listening to fake news on social media. There are many vaccines that we have been using for years now which don't have sterilizing immunity, but we have managed to eradicate or keep in curb many diseases. We have managed to control the spread of many diseases, control the disease severity, and also prevent many deaths. So we hope that we have been able to answer the questions that you may have had regarding the vaccine. Feel free to share this video with people who are hesitant to take the jab. Remember, unless 60 to 70% of the people take the vaccine and we achieve herd immunity, this virus will be here to stay. And so will the restrictions and lockdowns and curfews. So it is not just you who need to take the vaccine. The people surrounding you also need to. So go share this video and go take the vaccine. Do you have any questions regarding the vaccine? Comment below and we may come back with answers to them in a later video. A special thanks to Dr. Libin for his expert advice and to Chandrasekhar Ramesh for allowing us to use the content from his channel. Until next time, it's bye-bye from Pale Blue Thoughts, and hey, don't forget to take the vaccine.